Hey guys, it's Vanessa and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing another What's for Dinner with you guys, where I show you some of the meals my family and I shared throughout the week. For the first meal, I have some Rachel Ray inspired cheeseburgers and some tater tots. For my burgers, I usually just use lean or medium ground beef, and I just pat them out until they're nice and big and flat because they will shrink up quite a bit, and I just season them with salt and pepper. I have this sharp cheddar, thick sliced Kraft cheese, love that on my burgers, and also snagged these bakery sesame buns that were about ready to go, so they were half price. Love when that happens. Also some tater tots. Now they were going to be ranch tots, but when I opened up this packet, I didn't really like the smell, so we just went with regular tater tots. And I'm also going to caramelize up some onions. Just a little tip here, I always have a bowl beside me to discard any scraps or garbage. All I've done to the onion at this point is cut one end off and kept the other side of the root intact, and then I'm going to peel off the outer layer of both of the onions. What I'll do at that point, if you had a mandolin or even a cheese grater that has kind of that slicer on the side, you could use that to get really thin strips, but I'm just going to use a sharp chef's knife. I also take a little side of the edge off to prevent it from rolling around while I slice it up. Now, if you've never caramelized onions before, don't be intimidated. It's all about a low heat. Go ahead and heat up a couple tablespoons of canola oil in a frying pan, add your onions, spread them out in a thin layer, and let a very low pan do the work for you. This could take 25-30 minutes, so on like a 3. All right, I never do this, but I decided to throw a dessert in. I am trying the Pioneer Woman Drummond, a cherry pineapple dump cake. Now, it did call for crushed pineapples. My store didn't have them, which I thought was very weird, but I just went ahead and pulsed them in my blender, and that worked out fine. You're also going to need a plain white cake mix and a can of cherry pie filling, and about 1.5 sticks of butter. If you guys have never made a dump cake before, they are super basic. You just put your canned fruit on the bottom, sprinkle on your white cake mix, and layer it with butter, and then you throw it in the oven. I will link the recipe down below, but I want to say very quickly, I didn't use the right sized pan. Her pan was much larger, and I should have covered it with some aluminum foil because my butter started to brown. Otherwise, I think this would have been perfect. However, it was still very good and we still ate it. It was just a little bit underdone, but again, like I said, make those modifications and you probably won't be disappointed. I'm going to go ahead and prep the sauce for the burgers, but I just want to show you I have my onions caramelizing, I've sliced up some tomatoes for the burgers and some lettuce, and have everything ready to go. I'm basically making a knockoff Thousand Island, but it's equal parts mayo, ketchup, and relish, and it is delicious. A little Random-Ness tip, slice the top of your bag and use it as a tie. All right, so I went ahead and threw my tater tots in my air fryer. I missed taping it, but all I did was season them with some Lowry salt.
Smells like barbecue.
Ready?
It's not raining now, at least.
Now it's just stopping on.
Ooh.
4 minutes.
decided to go ahead and toast up the buns. That's really something that Jamie prefers. Do you guys like your buns toasted or just plain? Let me know down below. I thought I'd give you guys a little glimpse of our kitchen and what it looks like with dogs and kids. Although tonight we only had my oldest stepdaughter. She's 16 and a half, and is she not gorgeous? Here's my burger all plated up, caramelized onions, sweet pickles, the special sauce, lettuce and cheese. Perfection. Okay, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I've been teasing you about this recipe. Chicken parm and penne arrabbiata. So good. I have 3 chicken breasts here that I'm going to go ahead and slice in half. Now I'm going to use a combination of Italian breadcrumbs and panko, and I'm going to season it a little extra oregano, parsley, and garlic, just because I like to spice up my Italian breadcrumbs a little bit. I have some penne here that I'm going to go ahead and cook up. Now for the arrabbiata sauce, you're going to need some really good olive oil. You're going to need some good tomatoes because it is the base of your sauce. So I have these San Marzano tomatoes from Costco. They're a great price, and you guys, they are so sweet and delicious. I'm going to pulse those up in a blender and they'll be perfect. I have some crushed red peppers. I also have some fennel seed that I'm going to chop up with my knife just to kind of activate the aromatics of it. Listen to me trying to sound fancy. I'm going to need 3 whole bulbs of garlic, but all I'm going to do is blanch them in some boiling water, and that really loosens the skin up, so don't be intimidated by that. Just take the extra step. It's worth the fresh garlic. If you had red wine, you could use that. I'm going to use red wine vinegar because we don't usually have that on hand, and some salt and pepper, and you guys, this meal is going to be amazing. This has been my rule of thumb whenever I bread anything. Wet sticks to dry, sticks to wet. So if you have something wet, you need to dry it off, usually in some sort of flour. I've seasoned it with salt and pepper. Now the egg mixture will stick to it, to which the breadcrumbs mixture will stick to it. I hope that makes sense. It's always made it a little easier when it comes time for me to bread something. I have about 1/2 inch of canola oil in a deep frying pan, and I'm just going to give these a good sear so they're brown, about 2 or 3 minutes on each side. Then we'll go ahead and finish them in the oven. Now, I could have used the arrabbiata sauce, but I knew that I was only going to have enough for the penne, and I didn't really want to double the recipe, so I went ahead and used our favorite Classico sweet basil marinara. I'm just pouring enough over top of each piece of chicken. You do as much or as little sauce as you'd like. I'm also going to go ahead and grate fresh Parmesan right onto the sauce mixture on top of the chicken, and then I will top it with some mozzarella, and we're going to bake this at around 425 for 10 minutes max, you guys. This chicken was really thin, so it doesn't take long at all. Go ahead and heat up 2/3 cups of olive oil in a Dutch oven, and then you're going to add your garlic and heat it up for about 10 minutes, being careful not to burn it. You'll see there it had a little bit of color to it, but it wasn't burnt. Otherwise, your garlic will be very bitter. Go ahead and add that garlic directly to the tomatoes that you just pulsed a couple of times. And now you're going to want to blend it all together, as little or as much as you'd like. I like to have a little bit of a chunkier garlic, so you can see here everything mixed together. Guys, this smells so good. You're going to want to add this directly to that oil that you just took your garlic out of. If you're smart, you'll take it off the heat first. You'll see mine is starting to spit at me a little bit, but go ahead and combine all of that. Then we're going to add all of our herbs and spices. I will be sure to link the recipe down below. This is an Ina Garten recipe, so you guys will have all of the measurements, but it's super basic. Salt, pepper, chili flakes, as many or as little as you'd like, because if you want it a little extra spicy, and some fennel seeds and some red wine vinegar. I think that's what I love about this sauce. It is so super basic and delicious. This sauce takes about 30 minutes to simmer to come together, and then I'm going to transfer my penne directly into that pot, and I'm going to go ahead and move over some of that starch water because that's going to help thicken up my sauce. I'm also going to go ahead and grate probably about a 1/4 cup of fresh grated Parmesan into the sauce as well. And there you can see it thickened up quite nicely, but I really wanted you to see those chunks of garlic. And the chicken parm came out of the oven, you guys. It's sizzling and bubbly and cheesy. And when we know there's really nothing ever disappointing about chicken parm, to the point where my 9-year-old daughter even asked for seconds at 8 o'clock at night as a snack. Okay guys, you know supper was good when your 9-year-old asks for a snack at 8 o'clock at night and for leftover arrabbiata and chicken parm. So when I first started my channel and I decided to start What's for Dinners, Taco Tuesday was kind of like a staple on all of my What's for Dinners. And then I kind of stopped filming them because I thought people don't want to see me make tacos every week. Well, not only have I not filmed them, it feels like it has been 2 months since we've really had tacos in this house. So we're doing it up right. It's Tuesday. We're having Taco Tuesday.
You got me tiptoeing around you like you made of glass. Got an invincible fence letting everyone know not to trespass. But you're bound to break down, bound to lose, bound to get knocked right out of your boots when I use my witchcraft.
I like to transfer my meat into a dish so that the kids aren't digging it out of a hot frying pan, but I lay everything out kind of buffet style. And a little trick that I have with all of my sauces and condiments is I leave the lids in front of the container and just leave the spoon on the lid, and it kind of keeps my counter from getting to be a complete disaster, and then the spoons don't get mixed up and they stay in the proper container.
You made of glass. Got an invincible fence letting everyone know not to.
Everybody was super happy. Even Jamie, who was a little cynical when I said we were having tacos, said they were delicious.
Use my witchcraft.
Okay, the last meal is creamy garlic chicken and broccoli penne. I have some leftover chicken here from my chicken parm last week, and it still had some breading on it because I had kind of changed my mind at the last minute. I need to make my own Italian spices because I don't have any. It's basically parsley, thyme, sage, basil, and oregano, all equal parts. If you wanted to add marjoram in there, you could as well, but I didn't have any, or rosemary as well. I'm also going to use crushed red peppers, black pepper, salt, some olive oil to cook the chicken. Now for the sauce, it's just going to be a mixture of chicken broth and a little bit of milk, and I am going to use the Better Than Bouillon. I love that stuff. I get it at Costco. It's the cheapest place to get it, you guys. I also have some frozen broccoli that I'm going to end up pulsing in the blender just to kind of make it more palatable. And yes, penne again. Ideally, if I had farfalle or bow tie pasta, I would have used that, but it's about using up what's in my pantry right now. And I also have a block of fresh Parmesan, which we will be using as well. I'm going to go ahead and grate up about 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. So here's the chicken I had left over from my parm the other day, and it still had a little breading on it. I sent out a question on Instagram saying, what do you guys think I should make for supper tonight? If you guys aren't following me, absolutely go follow me on Instagram. Send me a DM, comment, answer my questions in my stories, leave me comments down below. You know, I always try to get back to you guys, and if I don't, I'm sorry. It's a complete oversight, and you should give me heck for it. I'm just kidding. Please don't come after me. I love you all. Now we've got our chicken all cut up in nice bite-sized pieces. I'm going to cook it up in some olive oil I've had warming up in a skillet here because I am going to be combining everything into this pan. You want to make sure it's going to be deep enough to hold your sauce mixture along with your penne. Season your chicken however you'd like at this point. I'm just keeping it simple with salt and pepper. Now here's the broccoli. I just pulsed that until it kind of created like a broccoli rice, I guess. And this is what I'm going to add to my sauce.
I can hurt you like you hurt me too.
I'm going to add about a teaspoon of the Better Than Bouillon right to the chicken and heat it up for like less than a minute because it will start to burn eventually. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Like I said, if you don't have it, just add equal parts of the herbs that I mentioned at the beginning, like I'm doing here. Mix them together, and I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that to the chicken. I've also added a little more salt and pepper and about a teaspoon of red chili flakes. This was a little bit spicy, but not unbearable because I do not like spicy. Here I'm adding 1 cup of chicken broth, and then I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of milk. If you wanted to add cream, you could do that. We just never happen to have it on hand, and it's not worth buying just for a recipe. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the arrabbiata, and I'm going to add the penne along with the water to create a little bit thicker sauce, and I'm going to blend in that 1 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Go ahead and stir in your broccoli. It's so finely crumbled that it really doesn't require any cooking time. Once you stir this through, it'll be heated very quickly. I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick taste test because again, this is an experiment and it's a winner, you guys. Jamie was freaking out. He said, okay, top 3. Easily, this is top 3 of the best meals you have ever made. It's definitely going into the rotation. I served it up with more freshly grated Parmesan. Everybody inhaled it. I swear, everyone had like 3 plates over the evening. All right, you guys, thank you so much for stopping by my channel and checking out my video and seeing what my family and I shared for dinner this week. If you're not already following me, check me out on Instagram and make sure you subscribe so you're notified every week when I post new videos, and be sure to check out my What's for Dinners every Friday. Have an awesome weekend.